rich and reckless. In the halcyon days of their youth, under the boundless azure skies that crowned their opulent mansions, three heirs of fortune, Julian, Emilia, and Nathaniel, lived with the recklessness of gods among mortals. Their days were woven from the gold-threaded fabric of privilege, each moment a symphony of hedonistic pursuits and lavish extravagances, untouched by the mundane worries that plagued lesser beings. Julian, with his sharp jawline and a gaze as piercing as the winter's frost, was the epitome of aristocratic allure. He moved with the grace of a panther, his every whim obeyed as though his voice carried the weight of ancient decrees. Emilia, a vision in the flesh, wielded her beauty like a scepter, commanding attention with her mercurial presence, her laughter a melody that bewitched hearts and emptied pockets. Nathaniel, the strategist, possessed a mind as brilliant as the diamonds adorning his Swiss timepiece. Together, the trio orchestrated their escapades with Machiavellian finesse. Together, they navigated the labyrinth of their youth in a chariot fueled by the intoxicating elixir of boundless wealth, believing themselves to be invincible, immune to the consequences that govern the lives of ordinary people. Their nights were a spectacle of decadence, each party outshining the last, a relentless pursuit of pleasure that left no room for reflection, no moment unclaimed by their insatiable thirst for the new, the exhilarating, the forbidden. It was on one such night, fueled by unbridled excess, that fate, with its unerring aim, struck a blow that would shatter their gilded world. In a moment marred by the reckless abandon that had become their signature, their SUV swerved unpredictably, its elegant frame cutting through the silence of the suburban night like a bullet veering off its intended path. The impact was a sound that would forever echo in the chambers of their hearts, a cacophony of breaking, of irreparable loss. There, in the aftermath of their folly, lay a boy, no older than a decade in this world, his dreams faded like shadows at noon, a stark reminder of the price of their recklessness. In the days that followed, Julian, Emilia, and Nathaniel found themselves ensnared in a whirlpool of guilt and consequence, a relentless torrent that pulled them deeper into the abyss of their own making. The world they had once commanded with the ease of demigods suddenly turned alien, hostile, its colors dimmed by the shadow of the life they had stolen. The news media were merciless, their names now synonymous with the tragedy that had unfolded under the cloak of night. Society, once an accepting host to their antics, now turned its back, a collective shunning that left them isolated in their grand villas, prisoners of their own infamy. In the solitude of their exile, each was forced to confront the mirror, to peer into the abyss that lay beyond the surface of their flawless reflections. What they saw were not the gods they had fancied themselves to be, but mere mortals, fragile and fallible, capable of inflicting pain beyond measure. Julian, whose confidence had been unassailable, found himself haunted by the ghost of the boy's laughter, a sound he would never hear in life, but that echoed in his nightmares. Emilia, her beauty, now a mask that concealed the turmoil within, searched for solace in the eyes of strangers, only to find them averted in disgust. Nathaniel, the architect of their fates, grappled with the realization that not all outcomes can be manipulated, that some consequences are irrevocable. Together, they embarked on a journey of redemption, a path fraught with obstacles, both external and internal. They dedicated their resources, their time, and their souls to honoring the memory of the child whose life had been a casualty of their hubris. They built parks in his name, funded scholarships for underprivileged kids, and volunteered in communities that had once been mere backdrops to their escapades. Yet the question that lingered in the air, as palpable as the scent of autumn leaves decaying on the ground, was whether their efforts could ever atone for the life they had taken. Could they carve out new identities from the wreckage of their pasts, or were they doomed to be forever defined by a single catastrophic moment? As they navigated this new reality, they discovered within themselves a capacity for empathy that had been buried beneath layers of self-absorption and entitlement. They learned to listen, not to respond, but to understand. To give, not to receive acclaim, but because it was right. To love, not as a conquest, but as a surrender. And so, under the watchful eyes of a world that at once adored them, then reviled them, they continued their journey, a testament to the possibility of change, to the hope that even the most tarnished soul could find redemption in the act of genuine contrition. After their fall from grace, the still youthful trio discovered not only the depths of their own flaws, but the strength to forge a new legacy, not one of infamy, but of rebirth, of a beauty born not from the absence of scars, but from the grace with which one carries them. In the end, Julian, Emilia, and Nathaniel emerged from the crucible of their ordeal transformed, not absolved, but awakened to the intricate tapestry of humanity, of which they were but a single thread. They understood now that true wealth was not measured in the currency of gold, but in the richness of one's spirit, in the ability to rise above one's failings and to make amends, not because it would undo the past, but because it was the only way to honor it. That's it. Thanks for watching and listening, everyone, and remember to enjoy the journey. See you next time. Bye-bye.